Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and we're continuing the phenomenal series from Blobz, which is all about oil and water and how they do not mix. Now today, as you can see, aside from the title, you can see that we're also talking about Renbans. So the thumbnail appropriately represents, obviously, the usual bottles of olive oil that are clearly floating above water. Remember, oil and water do not mix. And it looks like somebody probably purchased some nice high quality olive oil from maybe a farmer or similar and was planning to give it as a gift to somebody. And tied it up with a beautiful purple ribbon, kind of in reference to Renban lines. And for one reason or another, they went a bit wayward. They're now drifting down some river, and unfortunately, this gift is not about to be received by their intended recipient. What am I going to say about today's puzzle before we get into it? So, one of the challenges I always have when I commit to completing a series is I have no real control, obviously, over the difficulty rating of these puzzles. So, all the remaining puzzles in this series of oil and water are 3-star difficulty rated. I've looked for something easier, any 2 stars, any 1 stars. Alas, it is 3-star, and hopefully it won't get much harder than this. So I guess the best advice I can give you is this is probably going to be one of the more difficult puzzles we're going to feature on this channel. So grab yourself a cup of coffee, or given it'll be Saturday night, maybe a beer or a glass of wine, and sit back, relax, enjoy, and let's take a look at today's puzzle. So, Oil, Water, Renban by Blobz. And I'm certainly going to be upfront about the fact I'm a little bit intimidated, given the vast majority of cages that we're looking at have no digits. Occasionally, Blobz has been very generous and has given us a few parities. That's about it, really. So it's clearly going to come down to the Renbans and the cages and their interaction together. Well, let's take a look at the rules. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. That means place the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Fairly standard. Pink lines. I mean, clearly I disagree with the thumbnail. I went with purple ribbons, but pink lines contain a set of non-repeating consecutive digits in any order. So that's the Renban rule set. So for example, these 4 cells that are on the same Renban line, if one of them was a 4, the rest of them would have to be 2, 3, 4 to be a consecutive set. They do not have to be in any order, so that could be the 2, that could be the 3, that could be the 4, and that would be a valid Renban line fill out. What wouldn't be is if I remove that 4 and place a 5, this is no longer a consecutive set. So, what else do we have? Digits in cages do not repeat and must sum to the small clue if given. For example, this 11 cage, if this was a 2, these 2 cells would have to add up to 9. One example of that would be 4 and 5. That would be a valid set of numbers for this 11 cage. You can see we have a 20, a 23, and really that's it. We don't actually have any other numbers. Now, it's not necessarily explained in the rules, but what I'm going to interpret these to mean is that this cage's sum is an odd value, this cage's sum is an even value, and this cage's sum is an odd value again. And this will be especially helpful as we take a look at the oil and water rule set that Blobz has invented. So each cage is either full of oil, which is even digits, or full of water, which is odd digits. Or, of course, it can be a mix of both. Now, in all cases, each row within a cage is just one type. It's either oil or water. Obviously, famously, oil and water do not mix, so that is the case here. Now, oil floats on water, so in any cage that is mixed, the even digits will always have to be in the rows above the odd digits in the mixed cage. So let's see if I can illustrate this quickly. So the rules mean that this cage here could either be entirely made up of even digits, oil, and I've gone for green for oil, or it could be entirely water or odd digits, or it can be a mixture of both. Now, if it is a mixture, oil floats on top of water, And one thing that I cannot do is have water and oil mixed in the same row. That doesn't happen. Oil will float to the top on top of the water. So that's all the rules we have for today. So if you fancy grabbing a bit of high quality olive oil for a loved one, Valentine's is just around the corner. Never let it be said that Sleuth is not a romantic. And maybe you can grab those bottles that are floating down the river and gift them to someone that is close to you. Anyway, joking aside, link will be in the description down below for you to play along as usual. And with that said, I'm going to restart the clock, see how I get on, and good luck to us all. So as I restart, I'm going to kind of explain my plan of attack. In a lot of cases, I think we can actually color whether something is even or odd, or oil and water. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Take a look at an 11 cage. If all of these were even digits, the sum will clearly be even. So I have to have an odd number of odd digits. There has to be at least one water. And then the question is, can I do this for all of the cages where we have parities or digits or a value? And let's see how that helps us. So 20, for example, that actually can't be all even, because the maximum this would be 4, 6, and 8, which only adds up to 18. So there has to be a mix, and I emphasize a mix because I can't have 3 odd digits add up to an even number like 20. So that has to be even. These have to be odd. And 23, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I mean, unfortunately, that can all be entirely odd. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits. Actually, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. What do they add up to? They add up to 25. It's too big. So there's at least 2 evens. There's at least 1 odd to make sure that the overall value is odd. And then it's a question of whether both of these are odd or both of these are even. Closer to home, I guess, because, clearly not column 5, the middle boxes, there is a ton of clues between the Renbans, the parity cages. This is the place to be. The 11 and the 23, I'm sure, are going to be useful, but right now they're a distraction. I think the colors is really going to come from these. So let's think about the even cage. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cells. They can't all be even. There has to be an odd digit. Now, if it's only 1 odd digit, the overall sum will be odd, and that doesn't work. So I need an even number of odds. And the absolute minimum number of odds I can have would be all of these 4. Because the next layer up would be 3, still a problem. 4 odd digits would require all of these, and it can't be 5 odd digits. This is even. What can I do in here? I need, again, an odd digit. There has to be at least 1, and it has to be an odd number of odd digits. So the next one along would be 2, which is no good. The next one along would be 4, which is no good. But it's also no good because if you look in box 5, I'm going to end up with a tremendous number, 7 cells that are odd digits. That's just not going to work. So I think all of these have to be even. This has to be even, obviously, because now we're filling the rest of it. This has to be odd to complete box 5. And yeah, we're off and racing now. I say racing. We haven't written a single digit or pencil marked one, but now we've got 4 evens in column 6. All of these now can be odd. Remember, same layer and below have to be water. Same layer have to be water. We've got 5 odd digits in box 2. All of these now have to be even. 4 even digits in column 4. All of these have to be odd. We need 4 even digits in box 8. All of these have to be even. Come on, this is going well. We should be able to keep it going. We haven't looked at this odd cage. Let's just have a think about this. So I need at least 1 odd digit. It can't be 4 evens. So that's odd. This is, sorry, I'm just not thinking. wherever obviously the cages have extended, this has to be even. And then I'm not too sure if I'm on. Oh, there you go. Here's this cage. All of that has to be odd. And here is what gets interesting. Yes, so box 7 is now interesting. We've got 4 odd digits. I can't have 2 more odd digits in 11. That would make 6 odd digits in box 7. So these two are even. 5 odd digits in box 9. Sorry, row 9, pardon me. Means all of these have to be even now. Olive oil is at the bottom. That means it's also floating to the top. Can't have water on top of oil. This can't be even. I mean, aside from the fact I've already got 4 in row 8, so this has to be odd. But where I was going with this is I can't have both of these even because that would be 5 evens. So that's not even. They're both blue. That's 5 odd digits now. I need my 4th even. This is it. All of this entire cage now needs to be even. I need at least 1 more even digit. Just think about the Renban line for a second. I've got 2 odds and 1 even. I need a minimum of a second even, given I still have 2 more digits. I can't have 1, 2, 3, 4 odd digits with a single even joining them all up. So there's at least 1 more even in here. Potentially 2. Not sure. Row 5, there is 3 evens. These can't be both even. This has to be odd. Right. So I need 1 more even in here. I don't know which one it is yet. This is getting harder all of a sudden. I really thought I'm going to be able to color the entire grid, and I'm rapidly running out of ideas. So let's think about this. Yeah, this odd cage, I don't know why I stopped thinking about it. I can't, so if I stop there with 2 evens, that's a problem because the total of this will now be an even sum. And if I make all of it odd, well, that's still a problem because that's still an even number of odd digits. So these 3 have to be even. That's my 4 evens now in box 7. That is odd. I have 3 odd digits with only 1 even on this Renban line. This has to be even. That's 4 evens in box 5 now. This has to be odd. I need a 3rd even in here somewhere. Sorry, a 4th, pardon me. And I'm not sure where it goes, if I'm honest. Let me have a think around. What else am I missing? I'm sure there's plenty. Yeah, so let's think about column 1 for a second. I've already placed 3 evens. So this can't be even, for example, because otherwise that would mean all of these have to be even. Remember, it's oil floats. So if that's even, it breaks in column 1. So at an absolute minimum, all of these have to be odd, because I'm only allowed only 1 more even, which is one of these 2. And it can't be this one, because that would make the entire row even, including this cell. More importantly, look at what it does for row 1. It breaks it. I end up with 5 even digits. So that has to be odd as well. I'm pretty sure this now has to be even. Yeah, think about the Renban again. We've got 3 odd digits. I need 2 even digits. These 2 are even. That's my 4th even in column 1 now. This has to be odd. I've done my 4 even digits in box 4. This has to be odd. Done 4 even digits in row 4. All of these have to be odd. I need a 4th in column 7. This has to be even. You can see there is kind of almost a semblance of the same thing that we've been doing. We've got two odds and an even. I need a minimum of another even, given there's 2 more to go. But I can't necessarily place this one. But that might be enough. Row 2 means that all of these now are odd. I've already got 4 evens. Column 2, I think we've got 4 evens. So yep, that was clearly odd already because I filled that cage. I've got 5 now odd digits in box 1. Both of these have to be even. That's 4 evens in row 3. All of these have to be odd. I need a 4th odd in column 9. This has to be, sorry, a 4th even in column 9. This has to be even. That's my 4 done. This is odd. And we've managed to color the entire grid into oil and water. That's all lovely, but I still haven't pencil marked anything. So this is where, if you were placing a bet that I'm going to swap to letters now, you are correct. But I have to think about these carefully. So I'm going to sort of ignore the colors for a second. Ignore the colors. Is there any way I can do this somewhere? I'm going to basically do the undo button. I'm going to first explain what I'm thinking of doing, then undo it and start to fill in some letters. So I think the key to this whole puzzle is very much about the Renbans. For example, a 5-cell Renban must have a 5 on it. So there's the digit 5 in here. And obviously we've got these cages that have values that will help us disambiguate a lot of things. But the Renbans themselves are extremely useful in the context of letters for the following reason. What I can do is essentially use the letter tool to do the follows. Essentially, treat all of these as odd, treat all of these as even, and purely to help me with my own memory, as I maybe start to make the initial assumptions, make sure things like A, B, C, D, E, which I think is what I would need in here, are contiguous. And then the question becomes, because this 5-cell Renban is either essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The only certain digit in this 5-cell Renban is the 5. But it almost doesn't matter which one of these 3 it is. As long as I use A, B, C, D, and E consistently throughout the puzzle, and then I end up with another continuous block of F, G, H, and I, and then the question becomes is F joining the E? Is F joining the A? Is even F, G, and H and I even contiguous? That almost doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, as in we need to figure out. But as long as I start with this sort of level assumption, I think I'm okay to actually use some letters and apply that assumption consistently. Sort of have a look at my Colorado series to sort of see what I've done in the past. I didn't mean to erase it. I actually meant to undo so I can actually figure out what were the original colors that I did here rather than go back and do them. Now, so what I'm going to do is essentially assume that these 3 are A, C, and E, assume that these 2 are B and D, and this is a reasonably valid assumption. All 5 are contiguous. And then see what I can do if I apply it consistently. Yeah, I'm going with it. Right, B and D in here in the even block means that these 2 are F and H, because obviously they see the other even digits. This is another FH. This has to be G or I, because essentially all 3 are different. They're on the Renban line, and they all see these cells, so these have to be the remaining odd digits. What I may do is force picking one letter, just for my sanity in here. I'm going to make this an E. And just so that I can actually place an E in here. Now, I don't know if E is, I don't know what number it is. I just know that it is in this cell. And it can be absolutely anything. well, any odd digit. These are from A and C. You can see now I've got ACE. These have to be G or I. Sorry, I'm pausing here because I'm thinking very much about this Renban line now. So we've got one consecutive set, which is A, B, C, D, E. We've established that. I think I can actually risk making one more assumption. Where am I going with this? Think, Sleuth, think. So clearly, E is connected to G or I. Now, my temptation is to actually say it is connected to G just to make it easier for myself. And therefore, there has to be an F between them. So that's kind of my thinking. And because I haven't actually written in G or I anywhere else, I'm okay to do that. G in here, I in there. There has to be an F now between them. And that means that I have another set, which is E, F, or H, that are also connected. So what I know now is that A, B, C, D, E, F, is it F, E, F, G, excuse me, G, not H, is one contiguous set. And then the ones that I need to place now are H and I. Because the H and I could essentially be on either end. So it could be HI here, or it could be HR on this side, and that will basically pin me down in terms of what are the digits 1 to 9. I think I'm right in my thinking here. Let's push this logic a little bit, although it feels like it's not far off breaking point at any second at this point. So let's think about what does this mean. Let's do the unintuitive thing and put H and I before A, B, C, D, and E. What would that mean? It would mean I is at the beginning or end of the series, meaning that I is 1 or 9. And if H and I is at the very end, as in it goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, again, I would be at the very end, it'll be 1 or 9. So I is 1 or 9 regardless. Yes. Okay. And it can't be a 1 in a 20 cage because that would mean I would have to add up to 19 in 2 cells, which is impossible. So I is 9. Now, depending on whether the H or I is before the A or after the G. Well, hang on, no. Let's think about this. Because so essentially what I will show you now is that there are 2 possibilities. HI could be connected to A, B, C, D, E, as in G becomes 1. That's one option. Or HI is connected to G, as in G becomes 7. So that's the 2 options that I have on the table right now. And E would either be 3 or 5, yes. So I'm still correct in kind of what I'm thinking in here. I'm just going to push this a little bit further. Let's see what happens. I mean, let's think about what these 2 are. So options are A is either 1 or 7. C is either 3, or is it 7? No, because A would be 7, so C would be 5. Then E is either 5 or 3, and then G is either 1 or 7. Yeah. Now, because I've got A, C, and E, so essentially I either have 1, 3, 5 or 3, 5, 7. If it is 3, 5, 7, if it's 1, 3, 5, BD would be 2, 4. That all looks fine to me. And F or H would be... I want to sort of show it rather than try and do it all in my head, just so that you guys can follow along. So one option is E is 5. G... do I want to use... No, I'll use small numbers for now. G is 5. Remember, this is now... E is 5. G is 7. These would be 6, 8. In fact, I mean, with this being a 6, that would be 15, and that would require a 5. So specifically, this would be 8, this would be 6, and this would be 3. So this is one kind of set of world options, really. Now, the other set is if E becomes a 3, and G becomes a 1, then I'd need 2 and 4 in here. What would 2 and 4 do? That would be 11. That doesn't work. 2 definitely doesn't work. 4 and 9 would be 13. That would be a 7. So that is possible. Essentially, this is 4 or 8. This is 2 or 6. This is 3 or 5. And this is 3 or 7. 4 and 9 and 7. So far, that actually does work. Both directions work. That's a bit of a shame. So maybe what I should do is keep the letters for a bit longer. Solve with letters until more information comes along that proves it's one or the other. That feels like the best option that I have on the table at the moment. And I am going to keep the letter I, even though I know it is a 9. 22 minutes, not a single digit yet. Ouch. Right, F or H, excuse me, F or H, not a Q. So remember, G or I was connected to either A or E, as in H and I was either connected to the A and E, to the A or the E. Because this is really another opportunity to prove it's one or the other. It's E. There we go. I think we can actually have numbers aside from this sole 9. Remember, with every 5-cell Renban, we need to have the digit 5. And A was either 7 or 1. 5 was never on the table. So, but the only ones that could have been 5 were C or E. And in this case, this can't be a C. And the reason it can't be a C is because we've said the H and I are connected to an E or an A. So this is E. E is 5. This is 9. This is 7. This was 6 or 8, because F and H are 6 or 8. 6 or 8, 2 or 4, Right, 1 3 1 3 7 9, and the world makes sense again. Right, this has to be an 8. Because the 6 would have made this 15, and that would require a second 5. This is a 3. We now have 8 and 7 and 5. This has to be connected with a 6. This is 2 or 4. And this is 6 or 8, the F or H. In fact, it's just 6. Therefore, this is 8 in the Renban. This is therefore 6. And goodness me, that was hard work to get here. This is 1 or 3. But it's a 1 or 3 on a 4-cell Renban without a 5, because it's already written in the box. So this is 1 3. These are 2 4. This is an 8. This is 7 9. This is 1 3 in the cage. We've got 5 7 and 9. It has to be a unique digit. It's 1 or 3. In fact, it is a 1 because we have a 3 looking at it. This is, well, it's 5 7 or 9. I don't know if it's worthwhile pencil marking all of these. And we're off and racing. We actually have digits. It only took us 25 minutes. Right, let's use that same logic again. So 5-cell Renbans, although I just spotted something actually. Here is a 5-cell Renban. And all 5-cell Renbans have to have 5s on them. What's also interesting about this 5-cell Renban is it's got more evens than odds. If this is a 1, I've broken it because these would be 2, 4, and 6, and there's no 5. This has to be a 5. These are from 2, 4, and 6. Essentially the digits surrounding the 3 and 5. And then let's start to use the logic that I was saying. Every 5-cell Renban, such as this one, needs to have a 5. These are evens. It's got to be one of these. It's not these two. That's a 5. Again, this 5-cell Renban needs to have a 5. It's not this cell. It's one of these two. And this 5-cell Renban needs to have a 5. Excuse me. And, well, it's not these two cells. That's a 5. Got a 5 in here. Well, just Sudoku, eliminating all the options except 1. That's a 5. And we need a 5 in this box. That's not a 5. None of these are 5s because of these 5s. That is a 5. That's 5's done. Lovely. That's 7 9 just to complete the row. This is, well, 3 7 or 9. Not exactly helpful. And what else do we have? We have 1 and 7 in here in row 9 just to complete the row. This can't be a 7 because that would require a 4 remaining, and they have to be from even digits, which is a minimum of 6. So that's a 1, that's a 7. These are from 3s and 9s, just completing the box. Sorry, I'm pausing again, just having a think, what else am I going to be able to tackle? 7 5, I mean, both 3 and 9 work on this Renban. There's a definite 6 to join the 5 and 7. And then depending on whether this is 9 or 3, it's either 4 or 8. So this is 4, 6, or 8. One of these two is a 2. Not helpful. This is an 8. I've got 2, 4, and 6 on a Renban. They're all different digits. They all see this cell. This is an 8. This is now 2 or 4, 2 or 4. I mean, this is 2, 4, or 6. Not exactly helpful. And this is 8 to go with a 2. It can't be a 2 because this can't be an 8. Because remember, these cells need to add up to 10 to make up the 11 cage. So this is either 8 or 4, 6. Come on, Sleuth. We're making so much progress, and then it just came down to a halt again. Have I really got everything I can out of these Renbans? I'm sure the answer to that is no. There is a... Okay, let's just think about maybe some digits. I need a 1 in one of these two cells because, you know, there's literally no other 1s in here anywhere because of the 1, 3 and the 1. Well, here's a 1. That's not a 1. That's a 1. I need a 1 in one of these two cells. It could be on here with 1, 3, and then 2 and 4. That works. Okay. Sorry, I'm just checking the Renbans, which like to see if I've basically got what I can out of them for now, whilst I work on the Sudoku. But I think this Renban and obviously the 23 cage I've not really used that much, and I should. Sorry, just for a second I thought this was an odd digit, and it isn't. It's even. So let's think about this. What are these cells? This is another 7, 9, just completing the column for odd digits only. What are these cells? So this is 3, 7, or 9. This is 1, 3, 9. There's a definite 7 in here. And this is from 3, 9, or 7. And this is not 1, 5, or 7. This is 3 or 9. Got 3, 9, 3, 9, 7, 9, 3, 7, 9. This feels like it could be anything really. It's not really making progress here. This is 1, 3, or 9. So I really want to figure out what's going on with this Renban and this cage. I'm just not sure how to go about doing it. This will help. If I can crack it, I'm sure it will. We've done all the 5s. There's 9 of them. We haven't done all the 1s. Maybe worthwhile thinking about these. So 1s, 1s. And then 1s in all of these. Which covers a ton of options really. "32 minutes and counting." I'm quite focused on the odd digits, as you can see, but feels like this is the way to make progress. So can this be a 1? What does that do? That would of course have to be a 3. These would have to be 2 and 4. Not sure. Sleuth, sleuth, sleuth. Come on. 5 cell Renban can't have 3 and 9 on it. Yeah. If it does have 3 or 9 on it, that is a 7 cell Renban. So none of these can be a 9 because one of these has to be 1 or 3. So neither is 9. That's a 3. That has to be a unique number. That's 1. That's 3. That's 1. Neither of these are 1 now. That's a 1. That's not a 1. Neither of these are 3s. That's 7, 9 pair. That's not a 3. That's a 7, 9 pair. That's a 3. Just row 2 now. That 3 gives me 1 and 3 in here. 3, 9 pair, 7, 9 pair. This is looking much better already. This 3 tells me that's not a 3. This is 7 or 9. This is also 7 or 9. So we need 7 and 9s on this Renban, meaning this is a 6, 8 pair. What is this cell? It's not 3. So, and it's not 5 and it's not 1. It's 7 or 9. 7 or 9 in row 4. That's a 3. That's a 9. 5, 7, and 9 in here means this is 6 and 8. So no 4s in here. That's a 2, 4 pair. In fact, it was 1, 3, and 5. That's another 2, 4 pair. This is 6 or 8. Right. Progress. Look at this one. So remember, these are different. Plus these, all of them see this cell. This is essentially the 4th even digit, which is another 6 or 8. This is probably enough to start thinking about the 23Ks. Let's just start to do some maths. So I'm already at 8. So the remaining digits, whatever they may be, have to come up to 15. Now, if this is a 9, I've immediately broken it because that's 9. Minimum is 6. And another 2, I'm at least 2 over. So that is definitely 7. In fact, I actually have to minimize it all. That's now 15. Plus a 6 would be 21. Plus a 2, which is the absolute minimum I can put in here, that's 23. So that's 6. That's 8. These are not 6s. This Renban, if you remember, needed a 6. That's the 6. 6. I can type. That's a 4. That's a 2. That's a 4. That's a 2. That's a 4. This is 6 or 8. It's not a 6. That's 8. That's 6. That 7 gives me, 9, 7. Gives me a 9 in here. Gives me a 7 in here on the Renban. Again, they have to be different. 9, 7, 9, 7, 9. Right, I think we can actually solve this. There's light at the end of the tunnel. This 2 means this has to be a 4 on the Renban. 4 gives me a 2. This 2 means this is not a 2, 8, 10. This is a 4, 6. That means this is an 8. This is a 6. This is an 8. That's got to be a 2. That's a 4. This is now a 7 with the 9 at the top. Never really bothered pencil marking this, but that's a 6 because we've got all the other even digits in the row. This is an 8 because we've completed all the even digits in the box. And this is a 2, just the last remaining one in the column. That's a 4. That's a 6. That's a 4. That's a 2. That's a 3. 1, 3, 9, 7. Just Sudoku now, just flowing. About time. 4, 2, 4. What is this cell? 3. And then I have 1 and 9. That's a 1. And if I've not made any other mistakes, that's a 9 for the finish. What a phenomenal puzzle, Blobz. Have a heart for sure. Now, I'm just trying to think, did I really solve this optimally? So I'm quite happy with the way I've colored it. There was no doubt that was a little bit clunky at times, but it doesn't matter. I colored it all fairly smoothly. But then I couldn't really see any other way of getting started without having to go down through the letters. But I think whilst it was, I'm not going to say it was clear in my head. I'm going to say it's reasonably clear in my head. I'm not sure my explanations up here on the left kind of showed all the options that were still possible and that I had sort of ruled them out all correctly. I don't know. I'm sure if you think that I haven't, you guys will let me know in the comments down below. But what a phenomenal puzzle, and I'm glad to have solved it. Hopefully, Blobz, the other puzzles are not quite as difficult. Otherwise, we're in for quite a bit of hard work over the next few weekends. Hope that you guys enjoyed the puzzle and the video, and I'll see you back for the next one. Bye-bye for now.